Following the directives of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, to all state governors to institute judicial panels of inquiry into police brutality, His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Ayade, the Governor of Cross River State, has accordingly approved the constitution of the panel of inquiry. We are therefore gathered here to witness what will unarguably bring justice to all families whose loved ones have either been brutalized or unlawfully detained. Nigerian youth have over the past 2 weeks been protesting against police brutality, resulting in deaths and injuries on the protesting youth in some states of the Federation. Thankfully, we do not have any such ugly incident in our dear state, as proactive measures have been put in place by the governor of our state to forestall any such ugly incident. The 7-man panel of inquiry includes representatives of the civil society, human rights organizations, the youth, as well as lawyers. The panel terms of reference include to listen to and obtain evidence of victims of police brutality in Cross River State, to determine the identity of the officers concerned or anyone responsible for the abuse of any victim, and to recommend the prosecution of such persons. To make appropriate recommendations to government on how to stop police or any security agencies' abuse of the rights and privileges of every citizen. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry will be given a time frame within which to submit its report recommendations to government by His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I, with all humility, call on His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Ayade, the ultrasonic Governor of Cross River State, to please proceed to swearing in the panel of inquiry as appropriate. There are, Your Excellency, may I present to you Honorable Justice Michael Ayade, Chairman, Attorney General. Okay. Honorable Justice Eno Ebri, Member. Reverend Father Bob Etta. John Ebi Mapan, Member. Mr. Josie Oku, Member. And Christian Lawrence F. Atta, a.k.a. Ajebo, Member. Your Excellency,
and pledge to allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will protect and defend
the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so help me God. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
for being sworn in today to play a vital role in the history of Cross River State. We are black people in Africa, and blackness today is not defined as a color, but as an expression of failure, expression of people who are permanently dependent on other climes to help them go through their own processes. Blackness today is not longer a definition of color, but a definition of a people who cannot run their own affairs. The solid mineral in our soil, the crude oil in our soil has to be exploited for us by somebody. Your fruits and vegetables has to go through processing by technology that is imported. And therefore, the crisis of identity of the black man has come to question. So as we confront the challenges of our times, with our young men helping to open our eyes to the reality that leadership in the course of time has failed them, we all must agree and admit that those of us who have found ourselves in the position of leadership at this point in time have all failed, and we must take that collective responsibility as a failed system by the black people. It is time for us to develop that consciousness, face this reality, and agree with the young people that something has gone wrong. This has nothing to do with one administration or the other. It is a cumulative cascading effect of the rot and miasma that has accumulated over the course of time. I cannot explain why a young man will come out of the university 5-6 years down the line, no job. Yet, the biological pressure for procreation will start setting in, and the need to create a family will set in. Yet, no job. Ultimately, struggling to make a living, and every day in the street, he gets brutalized. In the course of searching for an independent source of livelihood, he is confronted with every single day, either his taxation or his police. Time has come when we must ask ourselves, is this the kind of childhood we had? If it is no, we must stand up against it. We must insist that the young men must be given opportunity to grow, just the way we saw prosperity in the course of the provisions that government made for us. It is our time to provide same for them. And that's why it's time with the young people of this country to say, we must put an end to SARS, and we must put an end to police brutality. To come together and allow and give opportunity for people who have been brutalized to ventilate, to speak out, for those who have lost loved ones, whose loved ones have been maimed, killed, whose source of income and business has been destroyed by SARS and the police. Please, this is a time for you to give them the patience and listen to them. It is not just enough to listen to them. It is only reasonable when we start a proper compensation of all the pains that have come. So I would like to receive a catalog. And I believe that as a state that is sensitive to the aspirations, yearnings, and wishes of our citizens, we will do all we can to see that they are properly compensated and rehabilitated. In my press release, today I have asked, and I hereby ask and request all chairmen of council to have an immediate recruitment of 1,000 young people in each local government area of Cross River State. That gives 18,000 employments into the local government service. In addition, the state civil service will also recruit additional 2,000. So by this minute, we have ordered employment of 20,000 people to the local government and state civil service administration. I believe that will water down the bureaucracy that has characterized our landscape in the last few weeks. I believe that can also create opportunity for these young men to have opportunity to go to school. Today also, I will ask that all Cross Riverians who school in Cross River State University of Technology will suspend the payment of school fees indefinitely. I also asked that for every single young Cross Riverian who has no job, who is out of university, who has finished youth service, immediately after your youth service, if you don't have a job, Cross River State will start a program of NYSC extension. So you return to Cross River State, extend your NYSC by 1 year to give us opportunity to find a placement for you. Ensure that they distribute them in such a way that as they have food on the table, their hands must be on the plow. because that excessive energy must be utilized. That intelligence must be put to use so that they can gain experience to prepare themselves for leadership and to take over from us as we begin to atrophy. I want to congratulate you again, Chairman. I want to congratulate you again because I know you as a retired Chief Judge of this state. You are a very astute man, very fair and very firm. And I believe that you will do justice to the people who will come before you. A takeoff grant has been prepared and made available with immediate effect. As we sign off from here and as we get up from here, I believe that Cross River State will begin to and continuously create a part of leadership. Thank you and God bless.
I must say that I am honored to call upon to chair such a very auspicious panel. You've placed the ball on the first panel I'm going to head. I have done that state-wise and nation-wise. Let me start with the nation. I was appointed to be the chairman of the Cocoa and Buffer Stock Fund by the federal government. I did that successfully too. Here at the states, Ediba, Osumotong, communal clash, I was the chairman of that committee, of that panel. And also, there's this one in Sadob Buje, yes, I was also the chairman. So I'm on a very familiar terrain. That's why the enormity of the assignment does not intimidate me, because I'm over and above. I thank Your Excellency for selecting for me men who are tried, tested, and trusted. So my work is a lot made easy. We want to assure you, sir, that we'll apply ourselves diligently to the task. And we'll come out with a finding, with a recommendation that will really make you to look back and say, thank God I had appointed them to the job. I would want to mention to the members that we are here not for any sentimental or emotional cause at all. Most of us might have experienced the police brutality either directly or by words and all of that. But that is kept behind us. We are after the real facts of the matter and not the sentiment of the matter. Because if it is the matter, then it is the heart of the matter. And that's what I can assure Your Excellency that will come out and come out well. I would also want to thank Your Excellency for being very proactive, setting up this panel. I'm not surprised because our track record does not speak less. And you've also assured us that you've made a handsome package available. I will assure Excellency then that there will be no stopping us. There will be no roadblock. We will bulldoze, and bulldoze very successfully.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me once more express my appreciation for finding me and members of my panel fit enough to be saddled with this responsibility. Like I had said, that we are not intimidated because it is a very familiar terrain. We'll do it as we have succeeded in others. We'll obviously succeed in this one to the glory of the state. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Let me first of all congratulate members of the panel who inaugurated this beautiful morning by His Excellency the Governor State of Ayade. It's a judicial panel of inquiry, and by the composition of members of this panel, you can rightly see that they're actually the right pegs in the right hole. Judging by all standards, Justice Eden is the immediate past Chief Judge of the state. We've also seen very notable cross-variants who have decisively changed history to their own intellectual glory. What is important and critical is that we have a lot of confidence in this team that they are not going to compromise. They are going to be dealing with a sect that is already compromised. They are going to be dealing with collection of people who have compromised the virtue of a human life, who have already compromised what has been put in their hands to do in terms of protecting the lives of the citizens of this country. And so they should expect an approach of negotiation from the victims, I mean from those who are culpable, the policemen, members of the SARS team, who come behind to attempt to get them to compromise because they are already a compromised set, like we said. But by the composition of this team, we do not see anybody who is capable of compromising the people at this instance. And so we'd like to thank His Excellency. But very clearly, let me lend my voice to the clarion call for the end-SARS protest across Nigeria. It is timely, and His Excellency the Governor has said it very clearly, that this is only obtainable when you find a collection of young people who have been neglected, whose voice have not been heard over time. Young people who have suffered a lot of pain and penury in the hands of these officers who were generally expected to protect the lives of these people. Just taking an example from what happened at Lekki Toll Gate 2 days ago. That date, 2010-20 in the history of this country will never be forgotten. How can you in all humanity open fire of live ammunition on young people, harmless young people who generally came out to protest? I mean, under an administration that is a product of protest. The administration, the national administration under the APC-led administration is a product of protest. They had countless protests and nobody shot at them. They also have their own children, nobody shot at them. Today you find young people who just came out to express themselves being shot and killed in their own crime. And it is condemnable, and as a government we have condemned it, and we will never support such a thing. For us in Cross River State, we realize that part of the reasons why we don't find that level of hostility around us in our state is perhaps because we've just left, we are almost leaving the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which struck the whole world. And economies were shut down, businesses, many of them will never recover again, But for Cross River, we had a proactive government, who was able to, get us going, even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we have His Excellency the Governor to thank for the proactive steps taken. So what you find around, going on in the country, it's not just a product of end-SARS. It's a product of so much of angst, so much of anguish. People are disenchanted. There's a lot of disenchantment in the air. You find people attempting to ventilate themselves in a manner that, I can tell you that even if the boy who was killed at Delta State wasn't killed by SARS, even if a government official had run into a school child, on the road, we would have sparked up something. Young people just needed something to hold on to be able to kick off this protest. And it should send a signal to the center to say, look, it is important that it is about time we do a lot of youth inclusiveness and engagement and copy the Cross River model, as a national model to ensure that much more young people are engaged. There's youth inclusiveness in governance, and employment is created for young people, and there is a clear-cut roadmap for employment generation for young people across the country. You would agree with us that when some of those things happen, they are just pockets of issues that happen amid the plurality of other good things. When you read the works of Walter Rodney, he would say that, and I quote him very clearly, it will be an act of dishonesty to weigh the paltry social amenities provided by colonial epoch against expectation and to arrive at the conclusion that the good outweigh the bad. Now, it will be counterproductive for us as a state, or for you as a journalist, to look at the very few pockets of incidences that have occurred in the state, and to look at it, maybe 1, 2, 3, like you said, 5 or thereabout, that have occurred, and to think that just one or just this few outweigh the general interest and the good, all the good things that the government is already doing. But as it were, I can authoritatively tell you that His Excellency the Governor is on top of it, our security agencies are on top of it. people are just saying, are trying to send a warning that look, they have almost a zero tolerance to corruption, zero tolerance to insurgents. And so once you find and sniff those kind of things coming up, generally you find that kind of resistance and repulsiveness, towards them. So I can authoritatively assure you that we're on top of the game, and the security agencies are also on top of their game.